Hey everyone, it's Marie, and today I want to show you how I like to use my alcohol markers. Now these are the StyleFile markers, and you can find them in the Brutus Monroe store. I'm just showing you here that they have a brush tip and a chisel tip. Now I can't really compare these to other alcohol markers because they're really the only ones I've ever used, but I've found them to be very easy to use, and I just want to show you how I simply color with them, and I'm going to use these monster images. Now I'm just going to be coloring this one little image today, and I'm starting with my lightest color. So with alcohol markers, the lighter colors have more concentration of alcohol and the darker colors have more pigment to them. So what makes them blend is the alcohol. So when you have a lighter color, it's easier to blend because it has more of that alcohol in it. So I wanted to go ahead and put down my lightest color first, and then I'll add in my darker colors. So I'm going ahead on this whole image and just putting down my lightest color. Now you might notice that I'm doing a little bit of sloppy coloring here. I'm kind of going outside of the lines, but towards the end I'll show you how I cover that up. Now I'm taking my next darkest color and I'm just going to add it to where there would be more shading. So that would be under the neck and around the feet, maybe the armpits. And I'm not an expert at coloring. I'm kind of new at alcohol markers, so I'm still experimenting. If you want more information on alcohol markers, Sandy Alnock is a wonderful artist and she has many videos and classes that you can take for coloring. I would highly recommend checking her out. Now I'm going to take my next darkest color and I'm going to go around more of where it's going to be darker, just adding in a little bit more shadowing. And after I put my little shadows on my darker colors, I want to go back again with my lightest color and blend it out. Since my lighter color has more concentration of alcohol, it's going to help those darker colors spread. So I'm going back with my lightest color and just spreading out all of that color, and I'm taking my brush tip and I'm starting where it's darkest and pulling the color down. Now I know I'm not holding my pen the proper way that they teach you in penmanship, so my hand kind of gets in the way, but hopefully you can kind of see I'm starting where it's darkest and I'm pulling that color out. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more shading, so I'm taking a dark reddish brown, and this is a pretty dark color, so I'm just going to go and put a little bit on, not very much at all, where it would be darkest in the shading, and it's going to blend together because it's a reddish brown, and it's just going to give a little bit more depth to my image. And again, after I have this pigment on, this color, I'm going to go ahead with my lightest color again and just pull that color out and blend it. So it does take a little bit of practice to get used to using your alcohol markers, but it's a really fun technique, and these alcohol markers are a very affordable price compared to other alcohol markers. I feel like they're about maybe half the price of some other more expensive brands, and they work really well, even for beginners like myself. So to cover up those little mistakes that I made earlier, I'm taking a white gel pen and I'm just going over those little spots. If you have just tiny spots that you colored out of the lines, if you go over it with a gel pen, nobody's even going to notice. I'm also taking this gel pen and I'm filling in those spots on this little monster, and it gives a little bit more pop to the image. And I came back later and I noticed a little bit of the color did seep through, so it kind of made it look like very light pink spots. But I didn't really mind that on my card, so I just went with it. So I went ahead and I colored all of those little monsters, and I just used the same method that I did using the first monster, and I went ahead and I colored them all and I fussy cut them, and I thought it would be fun to arrange them on the front of a white cardstock base to make my card. I just wanted it to look like they were all gathered around this fun cake, having a birthday party. I love the cake. I love the eyeballs around there and the worms coming out. I just think it's like the perfect monster cake. And I have a few nephews that I know would love to receive this card for their birthdays, so I might be sending that off to them. So I'm just figuring out where I want all my little monsters to go, and then I'll go ahead and adhere them down. I had to make sure to put those eyeball balloons in there as well, and then my little sentiment right up on the top. So I'm going to use a few different adhesives. I've used my tape runner, I used some Tombow liquid glue, and I used some foam adhesive to pop up a few of the characters. Now I'm just showing you that I'm grabbing my lightest gray alcohol marker, and I'm going to use it to put a little bit of a shadow underneath some of these characters. This is just going to help ground the characters and make it look like they're not floating. And it's just going to give your eye and your brain the illusion that there is a floor underneath them instead of them just kind of hanging there in space. So I'm just kind of lightly brushing on a little bit of color. I'm not making it too intense. It's just going to give a little bit of a shadow. I wanted to add a little shadow underneath the cake as well, so I'm just lifting up this one guy's. I will be lifting up the one monster's arm in a minute to add a little shadow there as well. So that's pretty much the card. Just to give it a little bit more sparkle, I am going to take some glossy accents and add a few diamond sequins here and there, just to give it some sparkle, give it some interest, and really make it shine. So that's the card for today. Hopefully that gave you some good information on alcohol markers. I'd say just keep practicing with them. They're really fun and they really make your cards pop. So thanks for watching. I hope to catch you next time. Bye.